It's 3 months to the day since 3 little girls were killed in Southport. Alice Agia, BB King and Elsie Stankum were at a dance class at the start of the summer holidays. The teenager charged with their murder, Axel Rudakubana, 17 at the time. He was also charged with 10 counts of attempted murder and possession of a knife. This afternoon, the police announced 2 further charges against Rudakubana related to evidence found at his home address a few miles from Southport.
The additional charges are the production of a biological toxin, namely ricin, and possession of information, namely a PDF file entitled Military Studies in the Jihad Against the Tyrants, the Al-Qaeda Training Manual, likely to be useful to a person committing or preparing to commit an act of terrorism.
The stabbings in July, though, are not currently being treated as a terror incident.
For a matter to be declared as a terrorist incident, motivation would need to be established. I would strongly advise anyone against speculating as to the motivation in this case.
The charges which have been added don't require a motive to be established, and some are questioning why it's taken until now for them to be added, including both Tory leadership candidates. It's more than 2 months since the toxin, ricin and the manual were found at Rudakubana's address. The police stressed the complications of an active investigation and that ricin, a poison stronger than cyanide, wasn't found to be part of the attacks.
There was no evidence that any victims, responders or members of the public were exposed to ricin, either as part of the incident or afterwards. Our detailed initial risk assessment judged that the risk to the community and to the wider public was low.
Axel Rudakubana is now 18, shown here hearing his initial charges back in August. The full trial takes place in January, when the full case, including evidence from counter-terrorism officers, will be revealed. For the 2 additional charges, Rudakubana is due to appear via video link at Westminster Magistrates Court tomorrow morning. Well, Rudakubana is yet to enter a plea to any of those charges, but it's with the trial in mind that the police were at pains to repeatedly warn against any sort of speculation around these new charges that could prejudice the justice process, pleading with people to be patient, to wait for the full trial in January and not lose sight of the grieving families. Of course, it was speculation and misinformation about the identity of the Southport attacker that led to the riots that we saw after the stabbings in July. Clearly, the authorities don't want to see any sort of a repeat of that. There are also questions, not just for the police, but also for the government around the timing, particularly of this announcement. Downing Street tonight insisting that this was a matter for the CPS and denying that they withheld any sort of information about the Southport attacks, amid suggestions from some other political leaders of a cover-up.